Why is Elon trying to buy OpenAI now? And note, he's not trying to buy OpenAI, but the nonprofit that in theory owns part of OpenAI. Sure, maybe Elon thinks he can get OpenAI now before it gets much bigger, but there's something more strategically subtle possibly at play here. Remember, Sam Altman and OpenAI are trying to transform OpenAI into a for-profit company. And that's not as simple as just checking a box on a form. You have to make sure the nonprofit is made whole for the transaction, which means you need to value things properly. And that involves courts and even the state of California getting involved. So what if, just by doing this, it complicates that whole process, throws a spanner in the works, if you will. So Elon could win even if he doesn't take over the company just by making things more difficult for Sam, someone no less than President Trump has intimated Elon hates. Quoting the Wall Street Journal, Musk's $97.4 billion offer with the backing of a consortium of investors could force OpenAI's board of directors to reassess how it is valuing the nonprofit, which the board has said will be fairly compensated in the transaction and own a stake in the for-profit. The higher the valuation of the nonprofit, the bigger its stake would likely be in the for-profit OpenAI following a conversion. At the same time, OpenAI is negotiating how much equity Microsoft, its biggest investor, should get in the for-profit company, along with other backers and employees. It is also seeking to raise up to $40 billion of new capital. Investors in that round will likely expect equity when OpenAI becomes a for-profit as well. Satisfying all those parties was already complicated. If Musk's gambit increases the equity awarded to the nonprofit, it will be even more difficult, end quote. Then there's the fact that for any profit transformation to take place, the attorneys general from California, where OpenAI is located, and Delaware, where it is incorporated, have to sign off because they oversee the process that makes sure charities and nonprofits don't get ripped off. I think he is probably just trying to slow us down. He obviously is a competitor, Altman told Bloomberg. I wish he would just compete by building a better product, but I think there's been a lot of tactics, many lawsuits, all sorts of other crazy stuff. Now this, end quote. But remember, the board of directors of the nonprofit is still, in theory, independent. With a valuation high enough, they might have the fiduciary duty to at least consider it. Quoting from the Journal again, if Elon's is a fair price and the OpenAI nonprofit is empowered to make the decision, it could sell, said Harvey Dale, a professor of nonprofit law at New York University. The board could reject Musk's bid for reasons beyond money, though. As a charity, OpenAI's obligation is to fulfill its legal purpose, safely advancing artificial intelligence to benefit humanity. The question of the appropriate price is secondary to the question of whether the board should sell the charitable assets at all, said Jill Horwitz, a law professor at the University of California, Los Angeles, end quote. So again, Elon might be unable to take over OpenAI in the end, but maybe that's actually a secondary goal to simply tweaking Sam Altman. As Dan Primack tweeted, quote, my understanding is that at Elon Musk is not trying to buy the OpenAI nonprofit per se, but rather the underlying for-profit assets that at Sama must buy in order to reorg the company. So it's partially a troll and partially setting a price that may cause Sam to pay more than he might want to, end quote. Like, if Sam wanted to say to the various parties, hey, look, we value the nonprofit stake in OpenAI at, say, $40 billion. But if you turn down a bid valued at $97 billion, that suggests you think that is lowball, that the nonprofit stake is worth much more than that. So then Sam would have to pay out more to shake off the nonprofit status, which would mean he would have to raise more money than he wanted.